So listen, Rod, we are just so thrilled and so excited, and just want to congratulate you again on being our Administrator of the Year. So awesome. And we're just going to ask you some questions just to get to know you a little bit better so that we can share it with our career and technical education family and, just let them hear a little bit more from you. All right?
Great.
All
Glad to
right.
be here and happy to talk.
All right. So here's our first question. So first question is, tell us a little bit about your background and how you became involved in career and technical education.
I mentioned before that I took a DECA class from a guy named Dave Green, who was DECA Dave, we called him. And he was my baseball coach and my DECA advisor, taught me marketing when I was 17 years old. And so as I went through college and decided that I wanted to become a teacher, they asked, what would you like to teach? And really, I just wanted to be like Dave. So I selected marketing, business marketing as my emphasis area, and wanted to be a DECA advisor. And so it was really in my high school years that I decided that that's what I wanted to do. And so I started out as a DECA advisor and a teacher of business marketing, and started a huge DECA chapter and started coming up with really cool ideas of classes. And one of the classes I came up with at that time that didn't exist in our state was sports marketing. And so that was really the start of what I would call kind of a spirit of innovation, trying to think of things that students could take that would strike their interest, but also be able to apply down the road. And so we did really fun things during that time. And then I became a principal of a junior high and a high school, and then became the CTE director, where I could impact, be a part of CTE once again directly.
Yeah.
So that's my path.
All right. So DECA Dave is the one that started all, right?
I saw him last week. He heard about my award and he called, and I'm like, Dave, I gave you a shout out in my speech in Phoenix. So yeah.
And that's so wonderful when you still have that connection with that person that brought you into the fold, and here it is. And so it segues us into our next question, which is,
Great.
You're clearly passionate about what you do, right? And the experience that you've had. And so what advice would you give to other career and technical education administrators on making their program successful?
Well, I think two things. I think that you need to have a spirit of innovation, where you can't live in complete fear. You're going to make a few mistakes along the way, but you're going to make them full speed. So you're going to try some new things, and you're trying them with the intent of trying to engage students. If you keep in mind what is the best thing for students, it will drive almost every great decision that you ever make, because it forces you to look more critically at why students may not be engaged in something they're doing, or why enrollments might be low in a certain area, or how could we better apply or demonstrate application in a certain area. And I think that's been the thing that's driven me the most, is gap analysis, being able to find weaknesses, areas that we can do better in, whether it's using the Perkins CLNA kind of process, or other processes to look at enrollments. But that's part of it. But the other part is just always get into classrooms, be a part of your product, get in there, see what's going on, engage in the lives of students, try to realize all the time, because administrative jobs, you can get more and more distant from kids. And as you do that, it's a dangerous thing, because you really don't know, you can't see the light come on in their eyes. You can't feel the love and passion for what you're doing again. So I come up with reasons to get in the classroom, to be around kids. And when I see that, it reinvigorates my career, to say, hey, no, you've still got gas in the tank. You can make a difference. This is one more hill to climb. This is an opportunity for kids that I know that they'll respond to. So I think that's, sort of a good combination, is passion and being able to identify areas that need improvement, and then just bringing great people together for solutions. That's the other thing, is it's not solely you. You bring in great teachers, you bring in industry, you bring in administrators who are passionate about seeing, great products for kids, and then you solve problems together, that collaborative effort. And so you're not alone in your efforts, and you don't want to try to go it alone. So I think that collaborative or collective effort is important.
Yeah. And I think you're just so right about that. And you know, we learn as career and technical education teachers, we really know what collaboration is, right? And as administrators, you all know what collaboration is, because as you said, you started, where we once were. And so you just continue to move with that. But it brings us to our next question. And, um, and, and I kind of want to pull in like what, when you came on, what you shared with us, right? The challenges of being in administration. And, like when you face challenges like you did today, like how do you help other administrators to keep that passion, to keep that spark, even when you have things that may be as challenging as what you had to deal with today? What words of wisdom or encouragement would you give to administrators when they do face challenges?
Yeah, I mean, I read a book 2 years ago during COVID that was really instrumental to me, and I keep it right here. It's called "The Obstacle Is the Way." And I think all too often we avoid obstacles. Not that we want to seek them out, because you'd have to have something mentally, out there to say I want more challenges in my life. But the truth is that from every challenge we've ever had in the world and in our lives, great things have come from it. Some innovative idea has come from it, some lesson that we can learn from it. And I just think that we have to dig in those moments of struggle to be able to say, what can we learn from this moment? How can we be better? I mean, it might be, a process that's improved, or it could be a program that's improved. And so, an example of that is when we went into COVID, people were scared of being too close, even in our kitchens. At the same time, we had assessed this problem that we had not enough boys in our cooking classes. So I started down this road of like, what are some innovative ways that we can do this that spreads people out so they're not as close? And the answer was in a Super Bowl commercial. I watched the Super Bowl commercial from Traeger, and I'm like, I'm going to call around and see if I can find someone from Traeger. And Traeger ended up donating 20 smokers and grills to our students, and we took those to our junior highs and high schools. And over the last 4 years, I kid you not, we have quadrupled the number of boys in our cooking classes, because they've become a smoking and grilling contest. We now have an association where they have contests, and they go around and they have grill offs and things like that. And it was a short-term solution to something. But what came of it was this idea of innovation. Like, we can do something better. And the other point I wanted to make was a struggling class called aquaculture. This is like a remote thing for me, but we've had this class for 20 years in our district, and it's only been one section forever. And I looked up on your website, on ACTE's website, and I came across two articles of an organization or a school district in Mississippi and one in Connecticut. And I saw the article, and I reached out to the teacher over this area. And these people, through remote virtual meetings, have guided us. And now we have 9 sections of this class that's out there. Well, one of the things that's interesting about this challenge is that we couldn't really resolve it even within our own district, or even in our own state, because we didn't have a good aquaculture program statewide. So even this collaborative feel of seeking answers, even beyond the borders or boundaries of our state, of our district, the CTE allows you to have this this collaborative team of people at your disposal, and people want to share best practice. They are so great to help you. And so we came across folks in Texas and in Louisiana who do smoking and grilling, who have guided us to help us with this course. So a lot of these ideas are not necessarily innovative in the sense that we're the first ones to do it, but we were able to learn from someone else and adapt it to something that is indeed innovative for our district, for our state. And those things have now impacted other districts and states to follow suit. So now they're doing things that we are doing. So that's how positive can sort of spread. But all of it was looking at obstacles as though they were opportunities. And I think that's one great lesson that we can learn from these challenges, is there's some lesson to be learned and some great thing that we're going to come across in this, that if we'll hang in there and look for that, we'll find it.
Yeah, that's so amazing. Like, I mean, just listening to that. And here's the other thing that I take away from just listening to what you say is that, you're really that administrator who, as you say, look for those ways in which you can provide opportunities and take the word challenge away and make it an opportunity. And I think that that is just so amazing. And like, to know that you have these young men who are now, looking at ways that they can provide, help with food insecurity, or not even knowing that that's what they're doing. So, you're taking care of another challenge without even knowing that that challenge is being, taken care of. And so I just think that that's just so amazing just to hear. Yeah.
And one funny thing that's resulted from it is 3 weeks ago, we just started building our own food truck. And
Oh, wow.
that has come from that idea. So great innovation kind of builds on itself, because
Yeah.
people feel the spirit of innovation, that they can come to you with an idea and it's not going to be the 101 reasons why we can't do it. Rather, how can we, and what boundaries do we have to fit into to be able to do it? Because in public education, there are going to be some boundaries with things, but we're not going to allow those things to keep us from doing it. We're just going to figure out the rules by which we need to play to be able to make it happen.
Yes, that's so awesome. So I love this energy that you have, and it's going to take us into our next question.
Yep.
And you probably have answered it a little bit, but I'm pretty sure that there is so much more that you can share with us. So tell us about one of your proudest moments or accomplishments that you've had in career and technical education.
Oh, I think there are two areas that have made me the most proud. And I would say that the first would be the impact on Ed Rising. So when 5 years ago, we didn't have Educators Rising. In fact, we didn't even have an education program. We didn't have a TAP program, a teaching program. Mm-hmm. But after a lot of thought around this, we decided that we were going to tackle this. Now we have, if you fast forward this 4 or 5 years, I went to a competition on Wednesday where we had 245 potential teachers from all of our different teaching as a pathway education classes, from our junior highs and our high schools, that are all aspiring teachers. And the reason why I think this is so impactful is because it's going to impact every area of CTE. We've really reached out to our CTE teachers, and the initiative has been grow your own, and who's going to replace you. And as you get older in education, you start thinking, who is going to replace me? And what was a great thought for me was one of my coordinators was in my sports marketing class back when I taught. So he's now a coordinator, and he'll likely be the one that takes my place someday. So as that sort of happens, you start to realize that these initiatives have huge impact. Not only that, but we have 3 times the number of students students that are non-white in those classes than we do in any other pathway. So there's been an initiative to really reach out to our Latinos in Action classes and our ELL students to really encourage them to go into education as a profession. So it's been really rewarding to see not just that these students are choosing to be teachers, but that they're going to now impact career and technical education down the road. And the other one that has just been so satisfying to me, when we first started, we had roughly 400 students that were involved in CTSOs. So our student organizations. It hadn't been like, we hadn't said anything out loud. Let's just say that students had continued to join clubs and groups and been a part of our district, but it wasn't something where we said, let's do this. Let's really try to grow these CTSOs. And so that was one of our first initiatives. And last year we had 2,450, students that were involved in CTSOs. We actually moved them from the high schools down into the junior high schools and used research around social emotional learning to say that they need that interaction with a teacher to be able to interact with others. We also used an initiative, hang on, that is right here where we said that portrait of a graduate, where you show all of the soft skills that students gain, from creativity to teamwork to character to grit to collaboration to growth mindset to all of those things that portrait of a graduate really espouses, and that all of those things collectively are taught inside of CTSO involvement, that they get all of these soft skills, that they get an opportunity to apply their learning. And we have preached that and challenged teachers to grow their organizations. We've redone all kinds of incentivizing teachers to be able to do this. We've looked at travel policies that may have been inhibitive for students, and we've broadened those so that students can go. Students that are underrepresented, so they don't have a lot of money, we've facilitated these opportunities for them. And so we've had more students travel, more students involved than any other district in our state. And that has been and so to go to these national competitions and these state competitions and to see students really putting themselves out there, not even the winners, but people that are just willing to try something new, to give an oral presentation when it's not in their nature, and they're really extending and pushing themselves. It's just been really rewarding for me to see the impact, not only on the students, but the teachers, because the teachers have worked together in a way that's been better than it's ever been, because they're working together to try to help students. So I really like those two initiatives, our educators, our TAP programs, because it's impacted education. And secondly, the CTSOs. It's a real strength in our district, and we're proud of that. I'm proud of that.
Wow. Well, let me just say this.
Yeah.
If I were not in my 32nd year, I'll be trying to figure out how I could come work for you.
Yeah, and we'd still take you.
Yeah, listen, because I do. I actually, now I'm in Virginia, so ours is called Virginia Teachers for Tomorrow, and so we have a program. Yes, so I just think that it is absolutely amazing. I love that program, and I think you're just right. Like, who is going to replace us? We get to that point and we start really thinking about that. But I just appreciate you just, having this conversation with you, knowing, that you are such an advocate for that program, because, we got to get people on board and understand that that's a program that's going to help us, right? Help us. It's a win-win situation, right? And so I just really appreciate you for that, right? Just want to say
thank
that.
you.
And then the other thing is like, okay, so I have to collaborate with you and figure out how I can get that little circle. Is that a sticker, or is that a pinwheel, or what?
It's a drink. It's a drink holder. So a coaster. So I'm always trying to make something that here's another idea that I can show you right here. This is a mouse pad that we had created, which is grow your student organization. And so it has all that stuff on it. So I'm always trying to think of stuff that will be useful, that will be visually there. And so we take these around to administrators and to our teachers. And this is our message to say, let's grow our let's grow our organizations.
Okay.
It's an invitation. So yeah, those are.
I absolutely love it. And let me tell you, your passion, your zeal, your drive, it just exudes throughout this camera right here about, how you were selected to be our administrator of the year. And it's just I'm humbled and honored to be able to interview you this evening. And so it brings me to my final question. I almost want to ask you another question before the final question because I'm having such a good time. But
Right,
um,
anything.
our final question is this. What part of being an ACTE member do you value most, one? And what would you say to a new teacher, a veteran teacher, about who is considering becoming a member, why it's important to be a member?
Yeah, let me just, I'll illustrate something really simple. So 5 years ago, the ACTE conference was in San Antonio. And now it's going back there next year, right? But it was in San Antonio, and one of the pre-conferences or one of the visits was to a local district that was doing tiny homes. And I had just started this job, and I had gone to my superintendent because our CLNA said that we didn't have a construction program, and yet Utah across the Wasatch Front is growing so fast, and there's a huge demand and high-paying jobs in construction. So I went to him and said, hey, we'd like to be like a lot of these districts and start to build a home. And our district said, no, we're not going to spend $280,000 on a lot. And then the risk of building a home and all that stuff. You're going to have to come up with something else. So I went to that conference in my head thinking, are there other solutions to this? Are there other ideas? Unbeknownst to me, that district in San Antonio had already been working on this project of building tiny homes and selling those across Texas. And immediately I'm like, hey, that is an idea. And so I came back and we started a process amongst my team of how can we get this done? And I kid you not, it's one of the coolest things ever, but we have been at the forefront of building these tiny homes. And last year we built 2 of them, and we actually donated them to a homeless village in Salt Lake City, giving back. But we have sold tiny homes over the last 4 years. Our students are engaged. Some of our students are from our alternative school, and they attend every day. They love learning to build. I think by last count, we had 30 students that are working for local industry partners in construction, and they went through our program and did internships and were able to connect with some of our industry partners. What I'm saying is membership in ACTE would not be possible, or that venture of tiny homes would not be possible without ACTE membership. And so as you reach out, you see best practice. You have people who are doing amazing things, and you're automatically in collaboration with them. And I just think there's great power in learning from one another. And that's what I've learned through ACTE is membership is power, because it introduces you to best practice across so many different areas. And those connections allow you to accelerate your growth as a teacher, as an administrator, as a principal faster than anything else, and to be able to deliver a quality product that is that where students benefit. And I think that's what the power of ACT membership is all about.
Yeah, I think that's so amazing. So I'm just going to put it out there. I think next year for San Antonio, you need to be one of the presenters, and you need to bring all of your things to share your amazing story and what it is that you do. I love it. Listen, I am so glad that we got the opportunity to have this conversation with you, just to get to know you a little bit better, and just to say to you that, we're just so proud that you are our Administrator of the Year. And I am again humbled and honored that I had the opportunity to meet you. I'm gonna look for you in San Antonio, Texas, when we go back next
Bet.
year in December. But thank you so much, Rod, for just taking the opportunity to talk to us this evening. And so, if you'd like to just kind of close out and say something before we end this call, you are more than welcome to do so.
Yeah, I just want to thank ACTE for the opportunity uh, to be a part of CTE. I mean, at the end of the day, this has been the most rewarding role that I've had in education since I taught it. So the theme in my educational career has been CTE. It's ingrained in me. I've seen the benefit so many times with students. We did a thing a few years ago called Soup with CTE. It was an opportunity to go and sit with students and recognize them for just very simple positive things that they were doing. But as I do that every month, and we go to a different school where we can recognize those students, and I get an opportunity to face see the impact of our programs in the lives of kids and their families. And to say that students find themselves with CTE is an understatement. There's so many opportunities I've been able to see that its impact in kids' lives at a stretch when they really needed something. And I just can't say enough what a blessing it's been to be a part of CTE and to continue to preach, I guess, its benefits and the opportunities that it has in the lives of kids, teachers, and so I just have been so grateful to be a part of this, and to be recognized is something I didn't expect, but I'm so appreciative of. You know,
Yeah.
and so thanks a ton for the trophy. I really appreciate it. It was a great day, something my wife and I'll never forget, and I'm more than happy to present on any topic. I've given you a few different things. You let
That's
me know how I can help, and I'm happy to do it.
absolutely. Well, I'm not the one, but I just put it out there so somebody will hear it on this recording to be like, we
Yeah,
need to reach out to them. So
yeah.
we'll,
However I can help going forward, yeah, I'm happy to help. I'll be the biggest proponent of CTE you've had. So yeah,
I love it. Well, listen, you and your family have an amazing holiday season. And again, we thank you that you were able to make it on. And again, we're just happy that everything is well. And we're just going to say good night to you and see you soon.
thanks. Have a great night.
All
Yeah,
right, you too.
take care. We'll see you guys.
Bye bye.